My name is James Erasmus. I'm from near Winchester in England and I'm 44 years old. I moved to Japan just over 20 years ago, partly because I was interested in making pottery, which I started in England. Partly I was interested in Japanese traditional culture. When I first came to Japan, I lived in the city in Osaka for 3 years. I was an English teacher, so I had a group of friends, so that was quite easy. When I went to Bizen to study pottery, suddenly nobody spoke English. For 6 months I really didn't understand what was going on. To not be able to express yourself is extremely frustrating. I learned a lot about what it means to communicate. But I became very aware that as my pottery skills increased and my language skills increased, that my relationship with the people working there around me changed a lot. There are a surprising number of similarities between England and Japan. There's an attitude amongst the people in their relationship to mainland Asia or mainland Europe, which is possibly similar. 私は焼き物を作ってます。岡山県の備前で勉強しました。There's many things I love about Japan. Visually, it's always interesting. I think Japan is a very quite intense country. High percentage of the land area is covered in mountains, so everything's squashed into a much smaller area than you would get in England. It has a long cultural history. The food is wonderful, and visually, you never get bored looking at it. There's always something new to look at. I think it depends on how you approach it and where you are. For me, living in the countryside, in a small village in the countryside, quite quickly get sort of very personal relationships with people. But I think if you go somewhere where you're not known, then straight away you are perceived as an outsider. It's just family life, I think, really. Playing with my very funny daughter, my wife, my silly dogs, just enjoying some good times at home or when we go travelling together. I definitely hope to go back sometime in the future to live for some length of time. To go back to live full time I just have to see how it goes. I definitely recommend. I've had quite a few friends and family come out and stay with us from England, and they've all loved it without exception. It can be quite intimidating, I think, with the language and the writing as well, especially. But if you can move beyond that, there's a lot that is immediately accessible as a tourist to Japan. The food, everybody loves the food. Traveling is very, very easy. It's a very, very safe country. So, it has a lot to recommend it, although not a lot of tourists come from England. My life now is quite different. When I first came to Japan, I was 24 years old and I lived in the city and I worked as an English teacher and I was getting paid a salary. And I didn't really care about what happened beyond next week. Now I'm self-employed potter with a family living in the countryside, and income comes from the sale of pottery. So I can't honestly say life has got easier, no. I think it's probably got harder here, but also a lot more enjoyable as well.